Everyone to the first Real Talk of 2023. And we thought, you know what would be a great kickoff episode is to meet your new executive team of Metrotex Association of Realtors. So, of course, I have with me our esteemed 2023 president, Miss Belinda Epps.
Thank you.
We have our immediate past president, Mr. Taylor Walchick. We have our newly installed secretary treasurer. We've got Johnny. I think I'm just going to call you Johnny. What do you think?
I love it. Whatever you want to call me.
There you go. And then, of course, I am your host. I am your incessant pest that you get to see every other week, but I'm also your 2023 president-elect. So welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening. This is the roundtable meet and greet. We're going to go around and kind of discuss different things, exciting things that are going on in the association. But this is your time to, in real time, ask any of those burning questions, make those comments, and we will answer to the best of our ability. And my favorite thing is, if I don't know the answer, I'm sure I know one smarter that does. So we're going to start off with our president, Belinda Epps. Belinda, some of this is kind of foreign to people. The average member is going, I don't even know what the exec team is. Mm-hmm. What do you guys do on behalf of us? And that's really what we want to kind of focus on today is the value of being a member of Metrotex and what we do as your leadership team to help advocate for you all the time. So, Belinda, maybe first, why don't you introduce yourself as far as, you got a cool jersey behind you. We love to call you Miss Mesquite. You're involved in a lot of things. You were running across the square just a few minutes ago because you're also involved in city leadership. But give us a couple of minutes about yourself and then break down what leadership in Metrotex really looks like.
Okay. So I am Belinda Epps, and I have been in real estate for 33 years. I started out in commercial and then did my own thing in 91. So, I am in Mesquite. I've been here, pretty much all my life. We moved from Oak Cliff in 67 when we started first grade. So I feel like I've been here forever. And yes, I just ran from downtown square to here quickly because I was in another meeting and it wasn't over yet, but oh, well, that's okay. I'm missing a barbecue sandwich though. So anyway, they're all eating and I'm down here, but this is more important because I want to be with our members and I'm just grateful that those of you that can get on and are listening today, please, feel free to ask questions because we need to hear from you. And just a little bit about who we are as your execs. So as you can see, there's the four of us and there's a president-elect, secretary, treasurer, and our immediate past president. That is your executive team for Metrotex. And our board of directors consists of 22 of us, and one is a presidential privilege that I have is having an appointed affiliate member and a past president that is also a member of our board. They're both non-voting members, but they are members of our board. And we meet monthly. Exec also meets prior to board to go over some, issues prior to our meeting, just so that we know what we need to discuss and some topics and things like that. And, it does arrive from a lot of our members' questions and what's going on in the market and things like that, because that's what we need to be talking about as far as representing you, our members. A lot of you may not know we're the fifth largest association in the nation. Yay. We are the second largest in Texas. Houston is number 4. And, we do a lot of things nationally and we do a lot of things on the state level. And that's what's important. We need to keep those strong relationships going. And anyway, we love what we do. So if you have any other questions, Ashley, I'm happy to answer them.
Sure, absolutely. And because this is live, folks, just wanted to throw out Parker, our esteemed producer and director in the background. But can you also check the host chat for me, sir? I had a couple of questions that I popped in there. Next, we are, going to talk about one cool thing that I think everybody should be aware of now. And if you're not, we're so excited to share with you. But we have a new building. And it's pretty darn exciting. It's something that has been in the works for several years. We've had building task force trying to identify what we were going to do moving forward, the future of Metrotex for the past several years. And so I'm going to kick off to Taylor Walczyk, our immediate past president, to talk about the new building, what that means for our members, and to share some of the exciting things that we are going. So I just found out it looks like the YouTube live stream is going live right now. Facebook just isn't at the moment. So hopefully people will be able to pop on and go back. So Belinda, we'll probably have you talk about leadership again in just a second.
Okay.
While we're waiting on the Facebook stream to start, let's just talk about really quickly, to burn a little bit of time and let our guests jump on too. Taylor, why don't you let us know how long you've been serving with the association, and what that's kind of meant for you the past several years as our immediate past president.
Sure. So glad to be here. I feel like a Renaissance painting right now. My background is a little bit darker. Joining you live from a hotel room. So my first experience in the association was going through the TRLP program and class 24, hardcore 24, for all you out there watching. And after that, I was the Oak Lawn MLS representative. And from that, I got so much exposure to different committees and, different people that were involved in different things. And I got on the board first in 2017. And from there, it was just like, man, the door was blown off the hinges, and learning so much about the state and national levels, as well as what we do back here at Metrotex. And, I figured out pretty quickly that I wanted to take it a little step further. And so I applied for the executive committee, interviewed, didn't make it the first year. I did make it the second year. And I guess I am the old one in the group here. This is my last year on the executive committee. And since I've been involved, there's been so many changes within Metrotex. We've rebranded with a new logo. We have a new building that I can't wait to talk about as soon as we get Facebook up. And, it's just been completely eye-opening in so many ways, from a professional level to a personal level. And I definitely would not be the person that I am today without the service experience that I've gained over the last 5-6 years.
Well, I appreciate that, Taylor. And you know what? So we don't hold up, because we've got people that are chimed in on YouTube. We also are posting, this is just live, right? Sometimes tech works and it doesn't. So we're posting on all of our channels, YouTube, Instagram stories, and we posted the link on Facebook. So you know what we're going to do? We always have great watchers after the fact, and that's just what we're going to bank on. Because real leaders lead, right, guys? Even in the face of adversity or technological issues. So let's talk about the building, because I think that's probably one of the most exciting things in our lifetime as members of Metrotex that has gone on. So Taylor, tell us a little bit about maybe first, where it is, and then how they can experience a little bit of a difference between the new building and Stemmons.
Well, all right. So I'll start with the location first. So whenever we were looking at our new building, and Johnny, you were in those meetings too, whenever it first came up, we really wanted to make our new building, wherever it was, really focused on the member experience. And we did a heat map. And what a heat map is it pulls the locations of all of our members, where their office is located, every single office that is in our membership, and it puts a dot on the map for every member. And we looked at that, and it was incredible. It was like a million darts on the map of DFW. And we determined that our heat map, where like the center of our membership, was the closest around the tollway and 635. And so our building isn't too far away from there, but anybody that knows the tollway and 635, that's the Galleria area, and there's really nothing to be had around there. And we knew that we wanted something that had lots of natural light, that had elements of nature, that was just knock your socks off. And so we ended up We're off of 635 in between MacArthur and Olympus on the south side. It's perfect. It's in between two pockets of residential. That's what a lot of our members do, is residential. But there's also lots of retail and commercial around there too. We're right in front of Hackberry Creek Country Club. We have great access to people that are traveling to and from DFW Airport. We're on almost 10 acres of land with wetlands on the land, and so there are parts of the land that we couldn't touch because of the wetlands. They're always going to be protected. And if you come into the building, you'll see one of our mascots, Wile E. Coyote. There's a coyote family that runs back and forth along the wetlands underneath the culverts that take you to Hackberry Creek. And at our last board meeting, where there was actually this huge red-tailed hawk that like swooped down and landed in a tree, and we were all just amazed. But the building itself, we teamed up with Boca Powell, who was our architect, and McElroy Falls, who was the builder, along with the projects group, and they completely surpassed our expectations. The building is spectacular. We have natural finishes with woods and stone and lots of glass. And everybody that is watching, if you're a member, you need to come experience this building, because there's a place for us. There's a member lounge where you can drop in and have coffee, talk to clients, answer emails. We have a big store. There's an event space that can hold, 200 people seated for dinner, or 400 for an education style place. There's 3.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there, Taylor, because I told our nice little fire marshal, I think, has reduced that capacity to, I think, 317.
Yeah.
So okay. Just gonna plug that, not by design, but that's still a mighty number. And I think at some point we're probably going to be able to share a little video montage of the building as well while you're talking about that, Taylor. But sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's it's accuracy matters. But the gist of it is that it is a spectacular building. It's we had our members in mind whenever. Johnny, I'm sure you remember the visioning sessions that we had, and I don't know what your thoughts were, but the first time I stepped into the building finished, I just remember everything that everybody wanted, and I feel like the project completely came to life with everything we wanted and then some.
Absolutely, Taylor. I mean, the building itself is amazing. If you haven't had the opportunity, I know you'll be able to go there at some point in the near future, hopefully. The building itself was comprised of all of the ideas from our members. We reached out to the entire association and we wanted to know, what did you want? What did you want to see in a new building? What did you want to see in your home away from home? And this building delivers on every level. And I'd be remiss if we didn't give a shout out to our own Mickey Carr for chairing that committee as well. They did a fantastic job. We are so excited to get away from the online Zoom meetings and more in person. So stay tuned for all of that exciting news. And like Taylor said, we're here for you. We want to hear from you. If there's anything that we can do to help make your user experience better, that's what we're here for. And just to kind of tie it back into the building, I know we do have some photos for you to see. But even if you may be coming in late to the video, just jump on Google and type in Metrotex, and you'll be able to see the beautiful new building.
Or better yet, if you come in person, call one of us and we'll give you an in-person tour. We love the building. We can't get enough of the building. I don't know how staff doesn't want to just live there because it's so pretty. But, call one of us, call a staff person, and they'll be glad to help you and give you a tour if they're available.
And one other thing to add on the building that a lot of our members don't really think about, because we're so involved in the trenches and the day-to-day operations of buying, selling, leasing, facilitating commercial transactions. This is not only our home away from home, but this is also our investment as members.
Yep.
And I am so excited to say we have hardly even been inside the building, like less than maybe a month, and we have already seen a positive return on our investment. Yep. And we walked into this with equity, as a lot of people like to tell their clients. So as a member, you may say, hey, what are we doing? Why did we move? We made a wise investment for a new property to help our bottom line and strengthen us as an association for future generations to come.
I think that's really important to point out, because I think that was kind of, when you see it, you're socks are knocked off because it's this, I think it's 40,000 square feet. Isn't that correct?
42.
Wow,
Yeah, 42. Yeah, remember, number accuracy matters, right? But it's amazing, and you walk in and then you go, okay, gosh, want to be good stewards, and that goes across the board. And what Johnny just said absolutely rings true. We had this in the works, before COVID and different things changed and all of that. We had a vision.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And part of what was amazing about this piece of land is because it had the wetlands all the way around it. It was a little intimidating for people to come in and try to figure out what they could do to utilize and construct on it. And so we were along for that ride, and we said, you know what, we'll take that bet and let's see what we can do, because
A challenge. Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, a challenge, and it paid off immensely. So yes, please reach out to any one of us. We would love to set up personal tours so you can see all the member added value experiences throughout the building, and more to come on there. Now, Taylor, you look like you want to add something too.
Yeah, well, a question I get a lot is, oh, what does this cost, and how much is it costing us? And the important thing is we were prepared going into this. We sold our building, and this was
at the peak of the market, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And this was budgeted. So we're not raising dues to cover this. There's no assessment.
Yep.
This was a budgeted thing. And, our association is very financially sound, and we make smart decisions. And so the short answer is it's not costing our members anything extra. It was a budgeted item. And, we have a lot of really smart people that work for us that, keep our accounts on the right track.
Smarter than me. So, Belinda,
Keyword.
what we keep on talking about membership and our members and everything else. Where are we hovering right now on our membership count?
We're right at the 27,000 number, maybe just a little under, maybe a little over. That's probably where we are right now. We've done nothing but grow in the past 2 years, I think, 3 years. So I don't know when it's just every month it's like 200, 150 new members. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, and that's fantastic. And when obviously it's no secret that the market has recalibrated a little bit. And I think that's also, those are things that we're having conversations as your leadership and at the association with staff. And how do we continue to provide member benefits and make us agile and be able to pivot and continue to help you guys aid to your professionalism. Iron sharpens iron. And so all of our in-person educational events, seminars and symposiums and all of those things that maybe the last couple of years was really hard to budget, because when inventory hit the market, you had to jump in the car and run. And now you have an ability to really drill down and take a minute to not only brief, but the other is to sharpen your own skill set. And that's what we're all excited about, is to bring these things to you. And so with 27,000 plus or minus members strong, that's really important. So that beautiful new building is not just for aesthetics. It's so that we can attract top tier educators, top tier speakers, anything that's going to give you a benefit as an individual realtor is something that we're going to try to attract at that new building. So going on, let's just talk about different areas though. We've also got, like Taylor said, we rebranded, we've got a new logo, we've got a new website. And so navigating that website is something that everybody should try and do. So talking about a few things, Johnny, why don't you touch on a couple of different things, and as we continue to go, so just FYI everybody, so it's the platform's issue with connecting to Facebook. And so we've tweeted it out. It's on different avenues. So hopefully people will get it. But like I said, we'll be able to get the replay and get these things going. So in the meantime, Parker, we appreciate your things behind the scenes. Make sure you play that video now that that's what we're doing, so people can see that. And now we're going to talk about the different things and navigating on the website to kind of help you guys increase the visibility and member experience for each and every one of you. So Johnny, why don't you touch on a couple of things that people should take notice of on the website?
So your website is your go-to place. And don't get me wrong, I am a user of it as well. It is clunky. Make no mistake, we as an exec team are aware of that. We're trying to streamline it for you. All that being said, if you are interested in courses, CE courses, SAE courses, certification courses, committee work, area meetings, all of that can be found on dfwrealestate.com under the professional members tab. And if you have any questions, again, always feel free to reach out to us or one of the staff members, and we can get you into the right direction. But this is where you're going to opt in for information and news about things going on in your immediate area.
So no, that's great. We also have we did another rebranding, right, Taylor? And that was something that you had a hand in. So one thing that is going and is actually going really strong right now is our area realtor meetings. But what the heck are our area realtor meetings? Because those are new.
So the area realtor meetings, how this all came about, we'll blame Clear Cooperation because we blame Clear Cooperation for everything. But the MLS meetings used to be under Kathy Faulkner's kind of realm of things. And with Clear Cooperation, she came to Belinda and I and said, I cannot do this anymore. And also after we talked about it, we talked with Janet and Bill Jordan, and we said, we feel like these meetings could be way more valuable to us as an association as they currently are. So, being a former MLS rep, I know the value that they have because, there's people that come to these meetings religiously that maybe never step foot inside the doors of Metrotex, but they need to hear what's going on within their association, just like anybody else. And so what we envisioned whenever we rebranded MLS meetings into area realtor meetings was kind of twofold. One was a consistent message from Metrotex to our members, no matter where you were, Southeast Dallas, Northeast Tarrant County, Oak Lawn. We wanted our members to have the same message, to have the same idea of events that were going on, educational courses that they could take advantage of. But the second part of that was our community outreach. And, how many of us have heard That's Who We Are with the little knock, 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 from NAR? That's an awesome marketing piece. That's an awesome messaging. And so, at NAR, they have the Good Neighbor Awards, which involves some level of community service done by realtors. And that's also found at the state level. And so we thought for consistency, let's pull that aspect that we felt we could improve on and get some community outreach going in all of these areas, because we all know that this is very hyper local. What's going on in Mesquite is very different than what's going on in Oak Lawn. It's different than what's going on in North Dallas. And so the realtors that serve these areas have their pulse on the heartbeat of these communities. But let's use that energy and create a bigger effect of what we can do as Metrotex realtors.
And let's deconstruct that for a second real quick too. So for those who may be new to the industry or maybe not well versed in how area meetings or MLS meetings, if you will, used to be, those were comprised of an older system referred to as map scope. The areas in DFW were broken down into what everyone called an area and sub areas. Those, however, went away many years ago, but as things evolve, people were still dependent on those areas, but the system and the mapping never got updated. Anyone who's been in DFW for more than a year knows how crazy fast things are going up and expanding. So we had to evolve with that. And that's kind of, one of the references that Belinda and Taylor and Ashley were referencing earlier is the heat map. Well, where are our members? Our members are everywhere. They're in different states. They may have a secondary at Metrotex. They may be a primary. We have people all over the Metroplex. Yes, Dallas is one of the primary spots of our membership. However, that's not the case so much anymore. We're all over Plano, Frisco, Allen, Louisville, Denton, Fort Worth, all the way up to Lake Texoma, Tyler. We're in different parts of the city. So it's an amazing thing. As we grow, we are wanting to give all of our members all of the benefits and power of being part of a mega association, but keeping that small mom and pop shop feel to where you're always welcome and you can always call us and ask us for anything. And we do cherish your ideas, your suggestions, because that's the only way we get to be better and become a stronger association.
Johnny, it's like you teed me up for something that is a passion of mine, because I am in that northern corridor. I work by referral, so have car will travel. Much rather work with people that know, like, and trust me than in my own backyard, because man, that can be a little difficult sometimes. But for me, though, that was something that I saw. Our membership was consistently growing in different corridors. And I think that's what's great about Metrotex, because we are strong and we are evolved and we're always looking at the future. It's how can we continue to serve those members in those growing corridors? And so we've got this beautiful headquarters. That is our hub. That is not going to change. But we still want to be able to help and aid the member experience for the average member that's always on the go. Maybe you reside in Dallas, but maybe you're like me and you work by referral, and so you're all over the Metroplex. Well, sometimes, I don't know about you, Starbucks is loud. I want to be somewhere where I know I can walk into and have a pleasurable working experience, get good Wi-Fi, maybe get a cup of coffee, and be able to relax for just a second in between appointments. And so we're really focusing on making sure that we call them service centers. I want you to kind of think of them more as like
regional satellite offices.
Yes. So service centers, regional satellite offices, a secondary regional campus, and secondary not in a bad way, but because we still have this beautiful building that we want you to come. But while you're on the go, we want you to have a different type of experience there that you can look up. And so right now we're identifying a Collin County location for agents that are growing up in that northern corridor, so they can come in. We're looking at adding flex office spaces. I mean, that's something that's really popular right now in co-working spaces and other things like that. Being able to even just jump, we're looking at different options to be able to reserve those. But wouldn't it be great to sit there and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in Frisco today. Let me see if I can find the closest, regional office of Metrotex. And jump in there. And whether it's sitting in, a tiny little member lounge in there, or jumping into one of our flex office spaces to take a virtual meeting, a phone call, maybe even do some video production, that's something that's going to help our average member. And that's what's really important to us, is that you guys know that we are consistently looking at increasing that member experience, not just with the same old, these aren't lockbox locations. Yes, you will still be able to procure a lockbox, but we want to go from there. That's not the main goal, is to have it as a store. So we'll still be able to do that, but we're supplementing with great experiences along the way. So let's go to something else, because we're about to recruit for our TRLP class. And that's something that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. Taylor Walczyk, I can literally say that I am here today maybe because of you, because you were actually the chair of the TRLP Alumni Committee the year that I got on. So I'm going to let you talk about it for just a second. What is TRLP? We love our acronyms, by the way, in the real estate world. So what is it?
So TRLP stands for Texas Realtors Leadership Program. And by the way, you were coming in, you were going to bust down the door no matter who was the chair. But I will say that of all the chairs of the TRLP program, I can say that I feel like I had the best class in heavyweight 28. I say that my husband was chair of class 25. So we have a little competition going on between us. But, I didn't really know what it was. I remember going around to MLS meetings and hearing people talk about, like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. And, it was almost like a fraternity. I went to college and I wasn't part of a fraternity, and I always kind of had FOMO about, like, oh man, like I didn't have that experience. My college experience was very much like commuter. I went to the University of Houston, and, I pledged, I went to the parties and everything for recruiting. And then I got into the program not knowing anybody, literally did not know anybody in my class. And that first couple of days, whenever we did the team building at Dizzy Dick's place, we all became like instantly friends. And a lot of us are still in communication and still hang out and do happy hours and stuff to this day. That's the social part of it. From the professional part of it, you just get to network with all of these go-getters that have such big expectations, and they have, you know, lofty goals, and they knew that they needed to do something and wanted to be a part of something bigger. But then from a service point, you figure out, okay, what does Texas Realtors do? What does NAR, you know, do besides me paying my dues? Like, what do they do? And you learn about advocacy, which has been, you know, it's become such a huge part of who I am as a realtor. Tree Pack, what that does for us, RPAC, becoming a major investor, and learning how staff and members interact with each other, and how, you know, we each have our roles, and together we create this beautiful thing where we all enjoy it. So if you're on the fence about applying for TRLP, do it. Like, just do it. I promise you, it'll change your life in one way or another. We've had people gone on to be Texas Realtors chairman, NAR presidents. We've had city council people. I don't know. I don't have the stats, but I'm sure we have some Congress people in there at some point. If you look at Texas,
we had some state reps.
So it just will change your life. And Ashley, Johnny, I know that you both have, you know, done the program. Belinda, you should.
The next one.
Yeah. So I want to, like, I'll kind of piggyback to you guys. What do you feel about it?
So I'll kind of jump
Johnny.
in and again, you know, come at it from a different angle. So, you know, most of our users, TRLP, the leadership program, that's not even on your radar of things to care about. And, you know, truthfully, it probably shouldn't be. You should be focused on getting engaged in the association first and kind of figuring out your wheelhouse. What do you like to do? Where do you feel comfortable? And so from there, that's why we have so many committees. And being a part of a mega board with over 27,000 members, you get the best of everything. So when you go into a forms and contracts meeting, you go into an MLS meeting, you go into a government affairs meeting, you are with like-minded people who are the best in the industry and the most knowledgeable in their areas of expertise. So you get a piggyback on all that information. And as you get more involved, that's when we really encourage our members to seek out the TRLP program. And Metrotex, while I am biased for class 23, you know, they have a phenomenal program. The TRLP program is also offered in several other parts of the state, and the state also instructs and does their own. However, I would argue that our program is unlike any of the other TRLP programs. It is a bar above, and we have been recognized time and time again for the exceptional work that group does. But it doesn't stop there. You know, so say you go through the program, you get your leadership program, and then now what? So then you get to go back into the association. Like, are you interested in being a vice chair or a chairman of a committee? That's the pool of people that we're ideally seeking when we look for candidates to fill those positions, because they know what it takes. They have the experience of the committee, and they're really wanting to give back to their industry. And those make for the best leaders. And from there, natural evolution always happens. We see our strongest leaders seek out board director positions. And that's a very, very competitive pool of people made up throughout the DFW Metroplex. And that is your gladiators that go to bat for you every single day. You have ideas, you have suggestions, bring it to us, of course, bring it to your directors, bring it to your committees. We want to hear from you. We are in a huge, huge, huge pivotal moment in our association where we are shaking everything up. For those who know Ashley, who know Taylor, who know Belinda, this is not your old Metrotex exec team. We are shaking it up from the top to the bottom, and we want to hear from you. So once you get involved, once you go through the program, once you're interested in being a board of director, then we hope to see you here on this screen one day when you are in your executive leadership, being able to give back to your fellow members. There's no better thing that you can do in the industry than to give back. And that's what we're doing today.
And something that I want to comment on, because I think the biggest thing is, it's like, oh my gosh, well, I've only been a realtor for 3 years. Like, what can I give back to my industry? Well, you know what? your perspective is unique. I think it's really exciting to see the different members on our board for 2023. We have several that have only been licensed for a handful of years. And you know what? That energy and that momentum and people that decided to get into the real estate business maybe as a second, that's not their first career that they started with. It's their second career, and they have a passion for improving their geographical area and being a professional realtor, and then sitting there and saying, well, I want to have a seat at the table because if decisions are being made as to what I can do in my profession, I want to have a voice. And that was something that was really big to me. I've been doing this for 17 years. I'm a legacy realtor. I co-own my company with my mother. And I was kind of that new evolved version. I got in nearly 2 decades ago. So we still had MLS books when I got licensed. But so I understood what realtors that have been licensed for a long period of time had and what they had to do. And there's great value and expertise in that. But we've also evolved. We've evolved in process, efficiency, technology. And so to bridge the two is really important. So when I did the leadership class, I was kind of like the Hail Mary for me going, all right, let's see what I can do here, because so far I'm just doing committee work. And I want to see what I can learn myself. And it was Adorna Carroll. And if you haven't gotten the opportunity to listen to Adorna, you either love her or you hate her. There's really not an in-between with love her. There's really not an in-between with Adorna, because she's from the Northeast, which is why I love her. Grew up in New Jersey myself, but she stood and she did a module in our leadership class. And she basically said, stop wasting the best years of your members with making them go through this arduous process of not your time, go through these cycles, make sure you check 14 boxes before you get leadership stature. And that is not what we want. We've all had different journeys. And I think that's what's fantastic. So we all have different lenses that we're looking through. And when Adorna said that, I basically turned around, and that was Taylor's year as TRLP chair. And I was halfway through the program, and I said, I'm going to apply for the board. And that was something that it took some, but she's past National Association of Realtors president, a highly esteemed consultant. She's very ingrained. So for somebody like her to say, stop wasting the best years, and if you think you're ready to lead now, then step up. I think that's what we can tell everybody that's watching right now is step up. If you've got a desire to be a part of leading our industry into a new direction, and a new evolution, then we want to hear from you. And that's something that's really important. But I'm going to kick it back to you, Belinda, because you also have something that you've brought to the table. You are also a commercial agent. You're very heavily involved in the commercial space. And that's something that's been underrepresented in our realtor associations. And not by design, but it's just natural. Commercial agents and residential realtors don't always have the same desires, the same paths. It's very, very different in proficiencies, but it's something as an association. And like Johnny said, we are a mega board. We represent a lot of different people in a lot of different areas, but commercial is near and dear to your heart. So I would love to hear what we're doing to make sure that we're representing that faction of our membership as well.
Sure. And one of them was making sure that we had commercial representation on the board of directors. When we interviewed this last year, it was tough. And I know Taylor can say, yes, it was. We had so many awesome candidates. And, that's probably the beauty of our association is having such a good pool. And that was one thing I was like, you know what, we've got to make sure that we have, property manager, we have the commercial, we have, the land people, we need to make sure that we heard from everyone and that somebody in those groups had a seat at the table. Commercially, yeah, it was a struggle for, way back since I can remember. And we used to, North Texas Commercial Association of Realtors and Metrotex we'd switch. Like I would go sit on their board of directors, and then they'd send one of their members to our board of director meeting. And we did this for years and years, and we weren't really getting anything from it. And so when Janet came on board, that was something she was passionate about, was commercial. And I was
Janet's our CEO, by the way.
There you go. She's our CEO. Yes. I was so ecstatic because I'm like, this is what we need at our association. Because real estate's not just residential, y'all. I mean, everybody knows it's land. I mean, it's everything from the sky to the dirt. It's everything. So, she knew that that was something we needed, and she pushed to help us get there. We've got commercial committee, we have global, we have our own MCDX board of directors that is an umbrella to our association, and we've got monthly meetings on that. We are working toward now that we can have in person. We're going to have some forums. We're going to have some meet and greets and some networking with commercial probably buildings that are being constructed, just things like that that our members can engage. I know it's so I guess humbling that whenever I do a commercial transaction, I get asked all the time, well, how do we calculate the commission? How do our MLS is not geared up for the commercial language per se. We've got to work on that. But the education is there. We have classes for that. And I encourage everyone I talk to, like, you know what, if you're going to get into this wheelhouse, you need to take the education so that you know what you're doing in that, avenue, because it's important that we're doing the right thing and we're practicing what we know and not just out there doing something that, oh gosh, that's an opportunity. It's not always the best if you don't know what you're doing. So we're kicking it. It's a good little place to be. Good place
I
to
have
be.
a question for you because, part of your expertise is commercial, but another part is, Mesquite, right? Like, so everybody thinks of Metrotex as this Dallas-centric organization. And I think it's so important that our members understand that we are so much more than Dallas.
Right.
And from your perspective, kind of touch on that a little bit. I know that, you're in Mesquite. Bill, our immediate past president, was from Kaufman. Bradley Edge, who is our current chair of government affairs, Sulphur Springs. Talk to our members about why Metrotex is not just Dallas centric, and why you're so passionate about Metrotex.
Well, I'm passionate about Metrotex because we are the members, and our members are different cities, and they're in different places in this area, and that's what I like about our board. It's not just the makeup of the different avenues of real estate that you practice, but it's all the different areas that we represent, and we try real hard to make sure we've got every corner represented somehow, some way, because we feel like we need to be the face, and we need to be out there in our membership, know who we are, not only in our communities, but as far as our members go, but the whole Metrotex area, homeowners, people like that, they need to know who we are and that we're there to help them. And as long as we've got our members in those cities and they're volunteering and they are, connected to what's going on in their city, what better way to learn? I mean, and to bring
Belinda
back.
We have our first comment from somebody from YouTube. Unfortunately, most of our viewership comes from Facebook. I'm so excited. Bruce.
Yay.
Bruce Erickson said Metrotex has come a long ways, all thanks to great volunteers and leadership. Congratulations to all of you for moving the organization forward. Thank you, Bruce. We are so happy. And if you haven't seen the new building, let us know. We would love to give you a tour. But that's it right there. And I think that's what's so amazing about the four people that are on this screen. Like you said, Belinda, we have different avenues of real estate that we practice. We have different territories, different tenures, all of these different things that are when we're talking about diversity is such a big thing. And that's what we're really big on, is making sure that all of these voices. Leasing and property management is also a big one that often gets forgotten. We've got a lot going on right now on the leasing and property management side that our association is at the helm to help get out information and also help with legislation and advocacy. And I know that was something, Taylor, that you touched on, was advocacy was a big part. The last few months of your presidency, things were heating up. You had to go down to a state conference and discuss why we needed to, as not only a local association, but as our state and national association to get involved. Can you touch just a little bit on that, what's going on there, and how Metrotex is being instrumental on the front lines in trying to advocate to help our membership and our homeowners?
Yeah, so I did testify in front of one of the Texas Realtors committees about what's going on at our city councils. And, speaking to my city council person, the thing that a lot of our representatives don't realize is that what we advocate for is broad. We advocate for private property owner rights. What does that look like? It could be, buying a home for the first time. It could be having a portfolio of 100 homes. It could be, short-term rentals, long-term rentals. And what we advocate for is private property rights. And, that is a hot button topic right now, is short-term rentals, and also the eviction moratoriums that are going on. So, we just know our members should know that we are constantly fighting for private property rights. And, on some things we are a little bit behind the game, but we are putting our resources forward in a way that's very positive and very noticeable. And the I guess for our members to know, the one thing that they could do to help advocate for their clients, for themselves, March 22nd, Realtor Day at the Capitol, there will be buses that will take us from Metrotex to Austin and back. We'll meet with our Texas state legislators and our state senators, and we get a barbecue lunch on the lawn of the Texas
that I missed a while ago. Get on around.
There's so many ways to get involved and to help advocate for our profession, for ourselves, and for our clients. TreePack is a huge way to do that. Your fair share is $45. That $45 goes towards advocacy efforts, towards education issues on what the issues are. And so talk with Nancy Garcia, talk with Josh Vernon, talk with Kevin Caskey. They are the dream team from Metrotex of all things TreePack. I'll defer back to Johnny. You were a past chair of TreePack. What
Absolutely. TreePack's an amazing tool. We have such a limited amount of time. I can't believe how fast time is flying, Ashley, but I just wanted to kind of, not to get into the weeds. If you have questions about any of these things we're talking about, again, we are your exec team. We are always available for you as a member. But just kind of tying in on a high level what we are doing from an executive perspective, we recognize that there are several associations in the Metroplex that may be a little bit smaller, that may not have the same financial resources. And so we are stepping up where there's voids, and we are putting our money where our mouth is, and we are working in a collaborative manner to help
absolutely
our members, no matter where they are in the Metroplex, no matter where their house may be located. Maybe, we're here for everybody. And that's kind of the takeaway I want everyone to take from this segment of the video. We are here for you, and never underestimate the resources. And it only takes one idea or suggestion from a member to ignite a beautiful grassroots campaign, which is oftentimes exactly where TreePack gets a lot of its inspiration and gusto from.
And one more thing I want to plug is, we hear, being in a large metro area, we get it from both sides. We hear that, they support too many Republicans or too many Democrats. And the team that we have in place at state for TreePack came up with, it's not a red problem, it's not a blue problem, it's a purple solution. And so they are having purple Chuck Taylors, and some of them are bedazzled, some of them aren't. But, for Realtor Day at the Capitol, we hope that we have every realtor in purple Chucks, so that our legislators can see. They ask questions. What's with the purple Chucks? Well, we have to work together on these things. Home ownership is not a red or a blue issue. It's an everybody issue. So, purple solution.
Well, and I think that's great. And going back to what that means to our average members again, because that's what this is all directing back to. You as an individual agent, and you sit there and say, well, why does advocacy matter to me? I just need to go out there and get my next deal. Anything else? You know what? If you invest in real estate, because there is not a retirement plan in the independent contractor world, you might invest in real estate yourself. You're going to have clients, you're going to have family, you're going to have somebody in your real estate career that is going to invest in real estate. And if it's not just their primary residence, those are the things we're talking about that are going on behind the scenes. And that doesn't mean that our legislators or city councils, other people aren't sitting there and bringing an issue to the table and saying, hey, we've got concerns, but as realtors, we need to bring the facts to them. We need to show them that you're making decisions or you're actually proposing policies on emotions and reacting to something versus knowing what's really going on. Specifically on the leasing and property management side, we had COVID moratoriums for eviction bans, different things like that, because the world was upside down and we were trying to still help people be able to have a roof over their head. And that's admirable. But there are different things that are going on. An individual mom and pop investor doesn't have the ability to float months and months and months of not being able to pay the mortgage. And so some of these municipalities are trying to make permanent eviction moratoriums. They're trying to increase what used to be a 3-day notice to vacate or pay or quit to 21 days. So giving somebody 3 weeks before you can even start that process. And at that juncture, that's crippling for some of our investors. And I know, Belinda, you guys have a very large property management division. We have a property management division in my company as well that we've spearheaded. And those are major concerns because we have great landlords that we represent, but if those landlords can't afford to carry those properties, those landlords will be forced to sell. And that's what we're trying to educate these different municipalities and legislators to say, hey, we hear you. You want to protect tenants, but at the same time, by wanting to protect tenants and bringing some of these things to the table, it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. If the good landlords decide that they have to sell, we either are removing rental product from the marketplace because a primary homeowner will purchase it, or one of the big conglomerates that don't have a heart and don't care as much are going to snatch up these properties. And so those are the conversations that we're having, is saying, hey, we get you, but let us give you some perspective. We're surveying our members. We're having these conversations. That's what Taylor testified to at our state conference, to say, hey, we need some help. We need to get the information. We need to collect data. We need some money, because this is something, again, that's a purple problem. And we need to make sure that have a seat at the table to have those conversations. So we've only got a few minutes left. That was my thing, because that's something that I'm very passionate about as well. And if anybody wants, you know what though, if anybody's watching and has any feedback or has a comment, maybe you're a property manager, maybe you work heavily with investors, and that's something you want to know more about what's going on, or you have some perspective that you'd like to share, let us know, reach out, and we'd be happy to hear from you. Johnny, do you want to say something?
Ideas, suggestions. I know we kind of bored everyone the last 5 minutes on our tangent about advocacy, but it is very important. But
yes, it is.
We do have our executive team all in one place at one time for our members. We really want to hear from you. And if you're not comfortable putting something in the chat box, definitely email us. We're very easy to find. But I also wanted to kind of maybe change things up. And we didn't talk about this as an exec team, but I'd love to kind of showcase some of the ideas that we're thinking of for this year, and maybe get participation. And so maybe to kind of start it off, Belinda, what are you excited about for this next year? What are some of the ideas, hopes, aspirations?
Well, the area meetings, I think, is probably my passion. I didn't know, Taylor, you were a chair of an MLS way back in the day. I was as well, and then I was recycled again. But that to me is that's where I kind of started, and that's where you get to know your members, and you get to network. And right now we've got 12 active area meetings. We've got 2 more that are just about to get going. One in Greenville, and hopefully the Forney one will get started here pretty quick. But if you are not attending those, and that's another project too that I've even kind of brought upon our staff is that those that are attending, we need some more young people involved. And I think it's because it's a breakfast. It's probably tough because they're getting their children to school and so forth. So, that's another work in progress that Taylor, we may have to, relook at the area meetings and figure out something on that, because I think we're missing, a lot of our members who would probably love to attend those, but they just can't because of the time, because they're all in the morning, they're all breakfast, and that's free breakfast once a month. But I think those are important to keep those going, and maybe even brand those out into some other areas where our members are, so that we make sure that, we've got something there for them. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm excited about the board of directors, what we're going to do this year. And, the applications are going to be online here, in a month, I think. It's already that time. Applications will be online. And, make sure that if you've got an interest, fill those out. Make sure you get your application in. And because, that's what makes our membership strong is having those members who are engaged and want to be in that position and work toward it. I mean, we're happy to help you get there and happy to answer questions. And so that's what I'm excited about. I think another thing too, you're looking at your executive team. We have put it upon ourselves to make sure that we are visible at your meetings. I really want to hear from a lot of our affiliate members, the groups, ARIA and NARAP and all those different other entities that feed into our association. We don't hear from them. And I think that is something that we've got to work on is, engaging them more and letting them know we are here for them too. And so you're going to see my face at some of those meetings and at area meetings as well. I've already attended a couple this year, but your exec team is going to be out there in the trenches, and so is your board of directors. I mean, that's something that we've put upon them, that they need to be out there. There's not just that once a month sitting in that gorgeous boardroom with the balcony, which it's incredible, but it's more than that. I mean, we need to be out there and find out what you guys need, and no better way to do it than to just go and be present in your situations, in your fields, and in your meetings and so forth. So that's what I'm looking for.
Awesome.
I think that's fantastic. Yeah. And then we've
Taylor?
got, hold on. We've got,
more work.
We've got the link in the chat right now that helps you figure out where maybe your local meeting is being held, what date and what time. And as Gary Nordling said, the Northeastern Tarrant County area breakfast meeting was standing room only. I mean, that's amazing. Wow. We are busting at the seams in some of these area meetings that we are having to pivot and find even larger locations.
That's right.
And that just shows that people are starving for that interaction, the information. And we're going to keep pushing that. I'm also going to put a note, because I had a text message from somebody that said, I don't know how to comment on YouTube, but to have an exec team member as an active member on forms and contracts says a great deal. Our exec team is involved at every level. Kudos. And so that goes along. We're all on different committees and things that we're passionate about. Johnny, I think that one was meant for you because you're heavily involved in our forms and contracts committee meetings. And so that's
there was
the thing,
52 plus people on the call today. So it's amazing.
That's awesome. We do. And that's the whole point, is that we're not behind the curtain. Like, we're on the front lines with you guys. We're at these area meetings. We're in committee meetings. We're at events. We're at seminars. We're at symposiums. We're having conversations and breakfast. So Taylor, what about you, sir? What are you passionate about seeing evolve this year?
So, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I focus on a word.
Me either.
And my word for 2023 is reconnect. And over the past few years, for one reason or another, we've kind of lost that connectivity, from COVID to not having a building to, things in our personal lives, right? And that's what I'm really focusing on personally, is reconnecting. And as an association, I really hope that we can focus on that too. Reconnecting with our members, with our affiliate members, reconnecting with each other, our in-person committee meetings, our in-person events, just reconnecting, because I feel like over the last few years, that's what we've all been missing, is that connection. Yep. And what a perfect time to do that with this beautiful new building. With COVID, it's still there, but we're kind of, It's kind of in the
We're adapting.
We are, yeah, and so we know how to deal with it now. I guess is how to what we should be focused on. So reconnecting, that's what I'm really looking forward to in 23.
Awesome, Johnny. What about yourself?
If I had something to break right now, I would, because it would be the glass. We are going to break through all of the old barriers. The old Metrotex, how a lot of the people who have been in this industry a long time may know it, those days are gone. We are a new association. We are in a new building. We have a new executive team, and we have strong leadership in all areas. I am so excited, and you have my word that we are going to shake up everything again from top down, and we are going to make it the best association it can be, and because that's what our members deserve. So I am excited to collaborate with other associations. I'm excited to collaborate with my peers on the local, state, and national level, and I am excited to engage, because that is the theme of this year, is to engage our members and get everybody excited to be in the industry again like it should be.
Well, that's fantastic. We are a couple of minutes over, which I think is awesome, that we all like to talk. So even without some of the comments engaging us the whole time, we still filled an hour, shockingly. We have a link to our events that will be coming up. You guys can bookmark that and see what's going on throughout the year. I promise you, we have a lot of amazing events coming down through the pike. I'm going to end it with something that I'm extraordinarily passionate about too. And that is, again, like Belinda touched on, our affiliate partners are the heartbeat and the lifeblood of our association. And I know our affiliates really struggled over the past couple of years with not being in person and being able to connect with our realtors. And understand, we hear you, we see you, and we want to be a support to you as well, because you have been the heartbeat of this association for year after year. So look for additional opportunities as an affiliate member. If you are not a member of our association as an affiliate, reach out, because we would love to walk through what that looks like. It's a very affordable membership, and it just, guess what? Like Taylor said, you get to pledge and be a part of this amazing organization, this family of choice. And I think it's a great opportunity for anyone wanting to stay connected in our business. So getting our affiliates some love and representation there is huge. So we've talked about a lot tonight, folks. We appreciate you pivoting with us with the technological difficulties. You can watch the broadcast on YouTube. We will share it on our Facebook page. And we have a lot of good nuggets. I bet you Parker, who is probably sweating in the background from all of these breakdowns, I know he has been. I know he's fantastic, but I'm sure he's going to be able to take a lot of great clips from this episode as well and disseminate those things into digestible bits. So stay tuned, watch your email, check us out on Facebook and YouTube, and we will see you guys very, very soon. And Parker just put in the host chat, haha, you're a mind reader. So you know what? Parker and I are in lockstep. We appreciate you, sir, for all that you've done, and thank you for tuning in with us. We're watching very soon. Thanks, executive team. And hopefully we will hear from each and every one of you very soon as well. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thanks, Ashley.
Bye.
Bye.